Welcome, my fellow intellectuals, hopeless romantics, and people who just love a good old toxic love story with a happy ending. Today, we are diving into the psychoanalysis of Beauty and the Beast, the 1991 version, not the 2017 one. Let's be real, we don't want to talk about that one. This movie is one of Disney's deepest psychological masterpieces, and I will not be convinced otherwise. We got some transformation, narcissism, existential dread, and yes, some classic sexual tension. That library scene? Oof.
You have to close your eyes. It's a surprise.
So grab a drink, light a candle, and let's talk about why Beauty and the Beast is basically a psychological case study wrapped in a fairy tale. So let's start with Belle, our walking, talking Renaissance-era bookworm with main character energy. She is not your typical princess. She craves knowledge, adventure, and something more, which, by the way, basically the existential dilemma Sartre and Camus wrote entire books about. She's too self-aware for small-town life, and she's too curious for mediocrity. She also stands in direct contrast to Gaston, where he seeks control, dominance, and surface-level admiration. Belle is drawn to depth, intelligence, and, well, books bigger than his ego. She represents the pursuit of understanding, not just of the world around her, but also people, which is why she's the only one who sees Beast for more than a monster. Beast. Oh, sweet, emotionally stunted, rage-filled daddy issues Beast. His entire character arc is basically an aggressive therapy session in slow motion. In psychological terms, Beast is someone who's suffering from deep-rooted trauma. He wasn't cursed just physically, but also emotionally. Left in a castle of self-loathing, resentment, and furry celibacy, he's violent, impulsive, and antisocial, but he's not irredeemable. His transformation begins when Belle refuses to fear him. Unlike everyone else, she doesn't submit to his anger, which forces him to see his own reflection, not in a mirror, but in how she treats him. This is a concept that Nietzsche would be all over. We're defined not just by who we are, but by how we're perceived by others. And let's be real, if Belle hadn't clapped back at him like a sassy dom on a mission, this man would have stayed an incel forever. And I want to talk a little bit about the West Wing. This is the ultimate do not enter zone. This part of the castle isn't just a set piece. It's a full-blown metaphor for Beast's deepest wounds, shame, and self-hatred. The enchanted rose is there, wilting away just like his hope, and the destruction around it mirrors his fractured psyche. So when Belle, the one person he's growing attached to, enters it, it's like someone reading your therapy notes out loud at a party. His rage isn't just about boundaries, it's fear. Fear that she will see the raw, unfiltered truth of his suffering. And what does he do? He reacts with the classical trauma response. He lashes out to protect himself from vulnerability. His reaction isn't just anger, it's a desperate last-ditch attempt to keep his pain hidden. But here's the kicker. Belle does see it, and she still chooses to stay. That is when the real change begins. Their love story isn't just about taming a beast. It's actually about mutual transformation. Belle isn't just a damsel. She's actively challenging him. And the beast, he learns to let his guard down, to be vulnerable, to court her instead of keeping her as a glorified hostage. And this is where we get to the real heart of the story. People change when they choose to, not when they're forced to. Beast stops being a monster because he wants to be better for her. It's growth, it's love. It's probably filled with unresolved sexual tension. Let's be honest, if a man gave me an entire library, I'd be on my knees immediately. Gaston, the man, the myth, the walking red flag. Gaston is Disney's ultimate portrayal of a narcissist. He thrives on admiration, he crumbles under rejection, he spirals into full-blown psychopathy when he realizes he can't have Belle. Everything about him screams NPD. The obsession with status, the need for control, and the absolute refusal to accept criticism.
I didn't know better. I'd think you had feelings for this monster.
He's no monster, Gaston. You are.
He's not in love with Belle. He's obsessed with the idea of owning her. She is the price he thinks he deserves. And this is actually what leads him to his downfall. The climax of the movie is the ultimate battle between raw emotional growth and pathological narcissism. The moment Gaston sees Belle caring for Beast, it sends him into full narcissistic collapse. He cannot comprehend that he isn't the most desirable man in the room. His entire identity crumbles. He lashes out violently, like any wounded narcissist would do. His final act of rage, while attacking the Beast, ends in his own death, and maybe that's a poetic type of justice. He falls because of his own arrogance. It's literally hubris in action, straight out of a Greek tragedy. And then we have that final moment. The curse is broken. Beast transforms not just physically, but completely. The castle, which reflected his emotional state, which was dark, cold, and cursed, becomes vibrant and full of life again. It's a direct representation of the Jungian idea of integration. The shadow self, the Beast, finally merging with his conscious self, the human form. He has conquered his own darkness, and love is what saved him. Belle didn't just love him, she saw the man for what he could be, and in doing so, she helped him believe in that too. And let's not forget, when that man turned back into a prince, Belle gives him that look. You know, the one. Yeah, girl, we see you. So there you have it. Beauty and the Beast is not just a fairy tale. It's a masterclass in psychological growth, emotional trauma, and narcissistic collapse, and the ever-relatable search for something more. If you like this breakdown of this movie, hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments in which movie you'd like me to break down next. Until the next time, stay sassy, stay sultry, and remember, never settle for a Gaston when you can have a Beast, preferably with a really big library. Until the next time, guys. Bye-bye.